Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Mark, this is Spiguyver Backpacking. Today we're talking about trip planning. So I have been on the forums a lot the last few days looking at some things, and I've noticed a whole lot of people asking about how you find trails, how you plan a trip, and you know, for those out there that are trying to get into backpacking or have moved to a new area like me, you kind of have to relearn how to find things because, you know, like when I was in Oklahoma and, you know, I've been in that area backpacking for quite a while, I kind of knew where to go to find information. I kind of knew who to ask and I knew what resources to use for that area. But when you move to a new area, it can be kind of intimidating because you've now got to find where are the trails, what's out there, where can you do what? And that's an important piece is, you know, there's a lot of places that you can go and there's trails, but you can't actually do any backpacking. You can go hiking, you can do day hiking, but you can't spend the night. You can't put up a tent, you can't put up a hammock, you can't stay the night there. And so what do I do to plan a trip? And that's what we're gonna be talking about today. You know, the resources that I use, where I go, what I do. So let's get into it. Let's go. All right, there are a lot of different resources out there that you can use to find places to go backpacking. So one of the first places that I go is actually just to Google, and I'll Google trails in whatever area and see what pops up, or best trails or best backpacking in this area. And that'll give me a good starting point. If you put in best backpacking in a certain area, you're gonna get a list of trails. And at that point, you can figure out what areas people are actually backpacking in. Then you can take it a little bit further, and if you find out that, okay, there's a trail, it's a loop trail or it's an out and back in this park, you can go and look at that park and see what the regulations are in that park, see if you need permits, see what you need, and try and figure out, are there other trails there? Can you link something up? Are there, you know, designated places you have to camp? That's another thing to kind of pay attention to, is some places you can backpack, but you only are allowed to stay in designated areas. So there's a lot of little pieces that you kind of have to figure out. You know, there are things to think about. Water, elevation, what's the trail terrain like? You know, where are you allowed to camp or are you not allowed to camp? Lots of different things to kind of think about. And so what I'll do from there is you can use other resources just to kind of narrow down those trails again. Okay, you found an area, you can go to the All Trails app. You don't have to subscribe. I don't subscribe. I use it quite a bit. And when you select a trail, you can actually go and use it as long as you've got, unless you get the pro subscription and you pay for it. With the free one, you can actually, as long as you have a signal, use it and even use it to track the trail while you're on it, which can be kind of cool if you're in an area with a lot of different trails that, you know, diverge off in different directions. You want to make sure that you're staying on the loop or the path that you wanted to take. So you can use All Trails to see what's around that area, or you could start with All Trails and just kind of do a map search and see what pops up. But the thing with that is you're just going to get trails. You're not going to know whether or not you're allowed to overnight there. And so that's why doing Google searches for best backpacking trails is good. Next place that I go always is YouTube. I love YouTube. I love the resources that are on there. I love the fact that there are so many people that do the trails, that post trails and post videos. So I'll go to YouTube and I'll look for, again, I'll do a same search, best backpacking in, so I just moved to New Jersey, I'll put in best backpacking in New Jersey, or best backpacking in Southern New York, or best backpacking in Eastern Pennsylvania, and see what videos pop up, and start watching them and see if there's something that I want to do. Another great resource are forums. You know, go onto Facebook and go to the different pages that are in there and do a search for, you know, backpacking groups or, you know, backpacking and hiking in whatever area you're in. And take a look through the list. There might be a group that really fits with you. It could be like, you know, hammock campers in, you know, this section of wherever you are, or tent campers or winter campers or whatever it may be. There may be a very niche group that you fit very well into. Join that group. Sometimes there's questions, sometimes you have to wait for somebody to approve you. But when you get in there, you can start looking through what people have already posted. You can take a look at pictures people have posted from trips. And then you can also throw some questions out there and say, hey, I'm new to the area, wondering if anyone was going out. Wondering where the best places to go are. This is what I want to do. This is the kind of mileage, this is the kind of terrain that I'm able to do. What have you got? So those are great resources to kind of get you started and figure out what you're going to do. Once you figure out, okay, I'm going to go to this area and I'm going to do this trail. If it's a loop trail, you really want to figure out what direction you're going. And sometimes one direction is easier than the other. Sometimes the weather will play a factor. Like, okay, today's going to be sunny, tomorrow's not going to be sunny, or today's going to be sunny, tomorrow may rain, or snow. You may want the best views and the hardest climbs to be while it's a good day, or if there's a dangerous section, you want to make sure that you try to get it in the good day where it's not raining or snowing or whatever it is. So planning and having alternates, is a very important thing to do. I know a lot of people like to download the maps onto their phones. So I use Gaia GPS. I download the offline maps. And so I've always got the maps on my phone. I can open them up at any time. It tracks GPS even if I have this on airplane mode. And so I can always see exactly where I am. And it has quite a few of the trails in there. And it's really easy to use. But another piece that you want to look at as you're planning out your route is water. What are your water sources? How far are you going to be doing water carries? Because that's going to change, what you may need to bring. You may need to bring more, things to carry water in, more water bottles or whatever, to make it from point to point to point along the trail. Also, if you're like me, you really want to camp somewhere within, I'd say, a quarter of a mile or less of water, because I like to have water for dinner, for drinks, for breakfast, whatever it is that I need. I want to make sure that I have water. Once you get to camp, especially during the winter. During the winter, for me, it's even a bigger deal because you're at camp for a longer amount of time. You get to camp usually somewhere between 3 and 4, maybe even earlier than that, based on where you are in the world and how early it gets dark. And so there's a long period that you're at camp. And so you want to have enough water to last you that whole time. In the winter, you do want to make sure that you're drinking. You may not want to drink, but you do need to drink. So make sure that you're doing that. So planning where you're going to stop based on water sources is also a very good way to do it. But it's also, going in and checking the regulations to see where can you camp? Where are you allowed to camp? And really that's how I go about planning a trip. Is I go do a search, look, see what I want to do, go take a look at some videos, see which ones kind of have what I'm looking for that trip, and then just go back online, figure out where the parking is. Do I need to? So that's the second part, or the last part, is really figuring out logistics. Where are you parking? Does it cost anything to park there? Do you have to get a permit to park there? Do you have to go somewhere else to get the permit? Like when I went to Carver's Gap, is it Carver's Gap? I think it's Carver's Gap. I had to go about a mile down the road to the state forest and get a permit to park there. No big deal, it was completely free. You have to know ahead of time that you've got to do that and plan it into the whole thing. Additionally, if you're not doing, if you're doing an out and back or you're doing a one-way, you can meet up with another person and drop a car, come back, and you've got to figure out the logistics. Are you going out and back, coming back to your car? Are you doing a loop where you come back to your car? Or are you going point to point and then you need to ride back from wherever you end back to your car? And so a lot of places, especially if you're anywhere near the Appalachian Trail or the PCT or any other long trail, Vermont Long Trail, Ozark Highland Trail, Washita Trail. There are a lot of different trails out there, Florida Trail, Sheltowee, the Highlands Trail. I mean, there are so many out there that cross roads that there are shuttle drivers out there that are willing to schedule a time, pick you up for a fee, and take you back to your car. So you can do that. There's also, last case is Uber. I know that some people have used Uber as well to shuttle back. It's probably a little bit more expensive than going with somebody that's a dedicated shuttle service, but it's still something that you can do. All right, guys, that's how I plan my trips, how I figure out where I'm going and what I'm doing. Utilize the apps, go online, search Google, hit up YouTube, and figure it out. If you want to actually see me go through step-by-step planning a trip, we can definitely do that. I have no problem planning a trip and going out and doing that. So, I mean, we could start off, we could say, all right, this is the general area we want to go. Let's figure out what we can do. Go through the searching process, find something, look at some videos, figure out what trail I want to do, figure out what the regulations are there, plan out the trip, figure out where I'm going to be camping, and then we can actually roll into the trip video and actually show how the planning equates to an actual trip. So if that's something you guys are interested in, leave me some comments down below and we'll think about how we want to set that up and get it going. Appreciate you guys checking this out. If you have any questions, any comments, anything else, leave them down below. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, go check out Patreon. I will see you guys down the trail.